Hello and welcome to Herman Manyora's channel. My name is Jadiel Kabiro, very much ready for today's political conversation. I hope you're doing well. I'm joined by Herman Manyora for today's show. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Message to our subscribers today?
Please continue subscribing. Those who have not subscribed, subscribe. Those who have, encourage others too, because this is a year we must talk.
Oh.
Yeah.
So many people are viewing these videos, including yourself. Maybe you're viewing this video and you haven't clicked the red button. It doesn't come automatically. You just have to click the red button. Click the notification bell so that once a video comes up, usiambiwe na mtu we did a video, you didn't hear about it. Please go ahead and subscribe, click the notification bell so that we move on together. So today we're speaking about Ruto's game plan. Yesterday we spoke about Raila's game plan when it comes to this 2022 general elections. Let me ask you, how would you describe Deputy President William Ruto's campaign strategy when it comes to moving towards the State House this year?
William Ruto is a go-getter. And if he wasn't running against Raila and Uhuru, there would be nobody who could beat him.
Oh.
He will not get the seat. And the reason is just one. That is running against Raila.
You said that
There's
yes.
no other reason. Yeah. Nothing would stop Ruto from becoming president. Only Raila can.
Well, how would you...
If it was anybody else, even if Raila says he's not running, and together with Uhuru they say they are supporting anybody else, William Ruto, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, Musalia Mudavadi, my brother, Weta, Gideon, none of them. In fact, Ruto will go on holiday.
Oh.
Yeah, he will go on holiday to come and in for the swearing in.
How would you describe though his campaigns, his strategy, the strategy he's using? How would
Ruto
you describe
is energy itself. Ruto is a political machine. He's a political genius. You know? You know, you can only compare Ruto to Moi and Raila. You know, Uhuru is in his own class. He doesn't appear to be like those guys, but
he's totally different.
Yeah, he has his own game. Slowly, seeing far, aiming far. So he appears not to be really, but in terms of energy, resolve, the genius, you can only compare Ruto to Moi and Raila. Nobody else.
What would you attribute his
energy? You know, the energy, the resolve, the fire in the belly, the go-getter thing. Not everybody has it.
Oh.
Ruto has what it takes to do big things.
Is that what you would attribute the mammoth crowds that come to him?
And you know, he's able to calculate properly. He's a strategist. And then with energy.
What would you say is going to make his bid become worth when it comes to the elections that will come in 2022?
Ruto is a political genius. No doubt about it. You don't need to like him. He's a political genius. He's a gifted politician. To have come from where he has come from to be what he is, not many people would do it. Let's give it to him. One of these days I'm going to do a clip on him. This man, Ruto.
You said that for...
Yes,
even last day you said
preparing. This is something you don't just wake up and do. You need to prepare. I'm doing research. Already what I know is earth-shaking. So Ruto is not a man you can... So he has what it takes to run a campaign and win.
His refusal to accept the normal way of politics in this country, his refusal to look for coalitions, his refusal to look for state agencies to support him. Would you say this brings out a perception that he's a democratic man, that he's a courageous politician more than others? Is this perception going to work for him?
You know, even a genius makes mistakes. We have generals recorded in history who made some very stupid mistakes and lost important battles and wars. History is full of those people. We have great leaders, kings and emperors and, you know, queens and presidents who made miscalculations and they lost everything there. So Ruto miscalculated. It was not a gamble. It was not a worthy gamble. It was a serious miscalculation that you can take this thing on your own. You can rally the entire country behind you without seeking the support of the tribal kingpins, regional kingpins. It was a blunder. The one mistake that he will live to regret is believing and making it known that UDA is a national party and he will not go the normal Kenyan way of alliances, of coalitions, of working with regional kingpins, of the tribal angle in our elections. He thought it was time to do away with that. That was a miscalculation. And indeed, to show you have been right all along and that he has realized I was right and he was wrong, he's now admitting Mudavadi and Wetangula in a manner he didn't want before. Now, somebody, I think whether it's David Ndi or one of his people trying to explain that said, I think it was David Ndi or whatever, I can't remember who it is, argues that Mudavadi's entry and Wetangula's entry through ANC at Front Kenya is different from Moses Kuria. He sees the Moses Kurias are the people coming with the briefcase parties in some kind of commercial venture. But that Mudavadi and Wetangula coming with the Ford Kenya and the ANC will be coming as serious partners. You see, it's a shift. That's quite a shift because he's realized that was a blunder. But I've said again, it may be too late.
Is this what you're saying, that he will be forced to come out and say that people now are calling out so that I can be able to admit other parties?
That's why he has started with Mudavadi and Wetangula. And that, I think, unless I get it wrong, and I don't remember well, but if I recall right, I think he says Mudavadi and Wetangula need not disband their parties.
I saw something, a headline somewhere.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes.
So it is what I'm saying. So that was a big blunder. And there's blunders like those in politics that cost you. And I've said before, and allow me to repeat here, that is what pits experience against inexperience. The people who are experienced like Raila, they are just watching you and the Uhuru. They know you'll make those blunders. So that was one major blunder. Another one and another one, and even by the time we go to May, Ruto may not be anywhere.
Do you think it will get to a point where he'll have the state support that he needs from different government officials, people that are working with the government, and Raila will be having the backing of the president? Can there be a division when you look at the elections
within government?
Yes.
There's only one government. There are not two governments. There's just one government. If that government backs Raila, then there's no other government that will be back there to back any other person. It's just one government. There are two governments.
There can never be a split.
Where? We don't have that.
Some people working for
which one? Who are these?
Others getting.
Not in Kenya.
But you've always said sometimes.
We have read about those things in history. In Russia, Bolsheviks and what, but not here.
How about the numbers though? The numbers that he has. We've always.
What will happen, just to maybe to explain to the viewers, what would happen or could happen is a few government officials, ministers and principal secretaries and a few other fellows, heads of parastatal and so on and so forth, may shift allegiance, may resign and then move to UDA. That is not government. When you leave and you are minister in charge of something, government is, you are not government. You are just a small thing in government. You know,
you reminded me of the talk we did have about the deep state being in control. Someone said that sometimes when someone has the big numbers, when someone comes out with good number of people, they can be able to shift the deep state towards their side. Do you think this will happen if Ruto continues in a trajectory of getting more and more people going to the hustler nation?
What deep state does is, of course, is engaged in self-preservation. Okay?
Yeah.
They want to see Kenya, a certain type of Kenya, or a certain type of country, wherever they are. And they will always put their weight behind the individuals and governments that will sustain that government they have in mind. And government is a question of systems. It may be political systems they want to run the country. It may be economic systems. It's a kind of systems. And it is about their view, their ideology. So usually they will side with somebody because that somebody represents their thinking and their interests. If however they see it is not going to work with that individual, it's possible they can shift that individual. And it's a question of trade-off. They tell him, you see, we were supporting so and so, but you see, you are doing well. We will support you, but on condition you must also shift to certain thinking. Promise us you will not be those extremes of yours. Rudisha chini kidogo, we shall support. It's possible.
So
Rutos, but not in our context.
Not in Ruto's campaigns?
No. Because there's no difference between Ruto and Raila. That significant difference that there was, for example, between Kibaki and Uhuru in 2002. These people are still at 50-50.
Yeah, even
so
the info track one puts them almost
where
there.
The system and the deep state fall, the scales will fall in favor of that side. Because they are at 50-50. If Raila improves his campaign the way I want him to do, the way I've explained, in terms of what stops him from going far, then it is very easy for him to get to 58%.
58%?
56 to 58%.
Do you think this year's elections will be that
Raila
much
has
of a
the
difference?
capacity to do that.
Not a 51.
On his own, Raila is at 50-50. So he can win at 52-53 on his own against Ruto. But you see the other forces also coming into play and assisting and being, their interests are being catered for and so on and so forth. And remember this, why it could even get to 60%. The focus is on the mountain. Once you dismantle, once you remove Ruto from Mount Kenya, why would stop Raila from getting even 65?
Will it happen?
Yes.
Removal of Ruto from Mount Kenya?
It's possible.
The
game has started. Let me tell you as you speak today. If an elections were held in Kiambu today, Raila will have 65%.
65?
60 to
we
65.
talked about the same thing in Kiamba, but Ruto
I'm saying Kiamba, in fact, was an eye-opener. Kiamba should have told Ruto. Ruto should not have celebrated Kiamba. He should have gone to the drawing board. If it is like somebody going to Nyanza. Luo Nyanza, as it's called. The Njonjo way of calling it. Someone going to Luo Nyanza and harassing Raila from there. At 50-50, 60-40, that's bad enough.
But you see, Ruto is not from Kiamba, and he's
not winning. People forget when they talk about Juja, Kiamba and the rest. They forget that we are just in a period now, or shortly coming out of a period where Ruto had 100% of Central, or the mountain. Now, if somebody has such a huge command of the mountain, and the Raila Uhuru onslaught was trying to push that to around 80-85%, Ruto's control. Everybody agreed Ruto was over 80%. And then here I come in Kiamba, and it's 50-50. That must send a signal to them. If they don't have advisors, I'm available to advise them at a fee. You don't celebrate, you mourn. Kiamba should have been cause for worry for Ruto. It should have been an eye-opener that something seems to be happening on the mountain. I'm losing grip. And I'm telling you now, if you conduct an election today, Kiambu is almost towing the line. If you go to places like Nyeri, the old people, almost at 80% are with the people beyond 50 are already the other side. You see?
Going the conservative way.
What is remaining is, and I know how this kind of politics is going to play in this country. What is remaining is, if Muranga is given running mate, game short.
Things are done.
Because Muranga says, Nyeri has gotten it, Kiambu has gotten it twice, it's their time. So you give Peter Kenneth or somebody, Kinamwangis and the rest, game short. Centro is gone. And
without Centro, you say Ruto is gone.
And you don't know how far Justin Muturi is willing to go. You don't know how far.
Okay, let's talk about the agenda now. The agenda that Ruto sells is the economic agenda.
Yes.
The economic agenda with a bottom-up approach.
Yes.
Raila is selling something different. He's selling unification. He's selling corruption, stealing the loopholes. Do you think stealing the loopholes from Raila will be able to counter what Ruto is doing, or Ruto is much more ahead when it comes to thinking about what Kenyans really need?
No, what Ruto has done, he's appealing to the heart. Hustler, bottoms up, 100 billion, workers, Mama Mboga. You know, that is, he's playing poetry. Raila must be careful how to balance poetry and prose. He must balance between sense and emotion. Ruto is focused on emotion, nothing else.
So that is going to win for him?
It's working already. You can see it's working.
Yeah.
So for Raila to talk about unity, he must be aware that may not be enough. Even when you talk about 6,000 shillings and you are Raila, it's not enough. Because, why is it not enough? You are working against a narrative that's already too powerful and entrenched and on the ground. So you need to come up with something much more powerful. And if you can do that, the other approach will be to rubbish the bottoms-up model. I have not seen sufficient attempt from the Uhuru Raila side to show the country bottom-up is hot air. I have not seen sufficient attempt. Because when Uhuru spoke from Kirinyaga, is that Kerugoya? Where?
Yeah.
during the Mashujaa Day.
Mashujaa Day. I think it was in Kirinyaga, yes.
It was Mashujaa Day,
Mashujaa,
yeah.
hosted by Anne Waiguru.
He put on the table everything that the government has been doing, is doing, and intends to do in a formal way. And that was comparing badly, if you ask me, from the Ruto side. What Ruto is promising through this hot air economics, government is doing it in a formal way.
Oh.
Ruto is saying he will throw 100 billion down there. Government is doing things in an institutional way towards the same things with a legal regime. If laws are necessary, they are put in place. If regulations are required, it is put in place. And the same thing is being done on the ground there by government, or government is doing it, planning to do it. But Ruto is just talking about it. So if they compare these two, one person through hot air economics, one person through working programs, government programs, backed with regulations, with the law and everything that you need and the policy to implement, either has been done, is going on, or is being organized, or is being planned against what somebody is just throwing in the air. Those are the kind of things I'm expecting the Raila side to be doing, but they are not doing that.
So Ruto is getting...
He's having a field day because the other side is not aware of the danger of narratives.
Oh.
You get it?
And you said narratives.
I've said this, the time they realize, they could wish they listened to me a little more.
Okay, listen to Herman Manyora a little more. Thank you so much for tuning into today's conversation. Have yourself a lovely rest of your day.